Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Break today from the Tarkir Dragonstorm decks. They'll be back next week and there's something special happening tomorrow. But one of my moderators has been on and on and on about me having a look at Tivit, the Seller of Secrets, since it got released on MTGO. And so I figured, but I need a break from looking at dragons, so we'll have a look at some rogue sphinxes instead. So Tivit, if you don't know, 3 white, blue and black for a 6/6 Sphinx Rogue with flying and ward 3. Lovely set of stats, really like that. Casting cost a bit awkward, but love the stat level. But it has the Council's Dilemma. Now, Council's Dilemma is an ability that basically means you always vote, and Tivit's got that one as well. So when Tivit enters or deals combat damage to a player, starting with you, each player votes. Evidence or bribery. Evidence gives you an investigation, and bribery gives you a treasure, and we get to vote twice. So every time we use a voting card, we get to do that twice, which can be quite useful. So here we go. Here's my take on Tivit for my mod. Enjoy it. So because of Tivit's interest in artifacts, we've gone a little bit heavy on the Planeswalkers. I like Party Jace. I've got an excuse to play them, so they're here today. Then we've got 4 versions of Tezzeret. So we've got the Schema, so we can get those Ethereum Cell tokens. We've got the Master of Artifice, so we get a little blocker. And then some card draw. If we control 3 or more artifacts, we get to draw 2 cards instead, which with Tivit in play should be doable when we get that level. And then we've got the emblem, where at the beginning of your end step, search your library for a permanent card and put it on the battlefield. If we get the emblem off, I'm going to be a very happy person. The other version of Tezzeret, is a Seeker. This is the very weird version they did from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, I believe. But +1 untap 2 artifacts, -X, search your library for an artifact card with mana value X or less and put it on the battlefield. And then -5, artifacts you control become 5/5 creatures until the end of turn. +1, -X are the best 2 abilities here. And then the other version of Tezzeret is the Master of the Bridge. Again, this has come through, and I've left the little version from Bloomborough here because I got told off by one of my other mods for changing the cards, so I'm not doing it today. Creatures on Planeswalker spells we have affinity for artifacts. That's nice. Then +2 Tezzeret of the Bridge deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control, and we gain that much life. We can return an artifact card from our graveyard to our hand for the -3, and then the -8. Exile top 10 cards of our library, get to put all the artifacts onto the battlefield. +2, -3 is where we're going to be going with this most of the time. Creatures, we have 26, starting with Baleful Strix, because who doesn't like card drawing, then a Flying Death Toucher. Lotho, the Corrupted Sheriff, makes his way over from Lord of the Rings land because we want those nice treasure tokens that our opponents will undoubtedly give us when they cast 2 spells. So because we are going for all these clues and treasures, we might as well have the Academy Manufacturer here. 2 versions of Cabal, the Consul of Allocations here, so we can gain 2 and everyone loses, that player loses 2 and we draw 2 when they cast non-creature spells. And the Profiteering Mayor is also in Thunder Junction. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your opponent's control, for each of them create a tapped copy. It triggers once a turn. And whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under our control, each opponent loses 1 life and we gain a life. Yeah, okay then. Lawrence here just gives a bit of card draw and a bit of artifact and enchantment control. And then Nadir Nightblade comes in from the original Commander set, which I've forgotten the name of now. Legends, maybe? Can't remember. But whenever a token you control loses the battlefield, each opponent loses 1, you gain 1. Biza, the Bounding Spring, is in just to help us out a little bit more with some fish. And then we have Brago, because who doesn't want to blink in and out Tivit every turn where we can? The Grand Arbiter Augustin IV also makes an appearance today. This is on the Game Changers list. I'm aware of that, so a little thing there. White and blue spells cost 1 less to cast, and spells our opponents cast 1 more. I tongue-tied myself there. Spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast. There we go. Do it properly. Mugwood Bads, because we'll be sacrificing tokens, and we'll well at least make everyone lose 1. Mondrak doubles up our token generation. Solemn Simsin, just to go and find us a land and the card draw. The Spark double to copy something that's non-legendary. Spark doubling Tivit is quite evil. I will say that here and now. Thassa's here to blink in and out every turn Tivit if we need to. Same wise, we've got Urza, Lord High Artificer, also in. Gives us that nice construct token. We can blink it out with Thassa if we need to. The Castillo Squire also in. This is another one of the Will of the Council ones. When it enters the battlefield, starting with you, we vote artifact, creature, or enchantment card in your graveyard, and then you get to return the card with the most votes or the most tied votes. So nice way of reanimating stuff that's been killed off. Elesh Mother of the Machines. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a trigger permanent of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time. Yeah, okay then. And then we also have Mole Drifter to draw the 2 cards. Kappa Cannoneer to get the unblockable big guy in when we start hitting those artifacts. Maester of Worth has also got the Will of the Council, 4 white and black for a 4/4 angel. Starting with you can vote for Grace of Condemnation. Grace gets more votes. Each player returns each creature card from their graveyard to the battlefield. If Condemnation gets more votes, destroy all creatures other than the Maester of Worth. Chance everyone's going to return everything, so not the biggest threat, but it's good fun. Another voting one. Oh, sorry about that. My phone's going off. I thought it was on silent. Apologies for that. Urza, Chief Artificer, is also in. Gives affinity for artifact creatures. Gives all our artifact creatures menace. And at the beginning of your end step, you get another construct. So, yay. And probably one of the most annoying cards in the world. Heartbreaker Horus here because, I don't want anyone to have anything in play and I want to bounce it all. Sheldred also makes an appearance. We'll change that away from the Phyrexian one really quickly, sorry. Because that's just complicated then. Yeah, we'll have the Itch one. That looks nice. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from the graveyard to your battlefield and everyone sacks one in their turn. Thought Monitor for the card draw and the affinity for artifacts. And then I had one slot left. I didn't know what else to do, so I went Valgothoth Terror Eater. Why not? It's just a good card. We all know that. Sorceries, we have Damn to either do targeted removal or blow the board up if we do the overload cost. Tyrant's Choice is also in, another one that lets us vote. If Death gets more votes, we're voting for Death or Torture. Each player sacrifices a creature, each opponent, in fact, sacks a creature. And if Torture gets more votes, each opponent loses 4 life. I'm happy either way. The Council's Judgment does it also. Starting with each player, each player votes for a non-land permanent that you don't control. So, all minus safe, thank you. Exile each permanent with the most votes, all tied for the most votes. Toxic Deluge for more board control, along with Damnation. Plea for Power is also in. Starting with you, each player votes for Time or Knowledge. If Time gets more votes, you get an extra turn. If Knowledge gets more votes, you draw 3 cards. The chance everyone's going to vote for Knowledge if you've got 3 players still against you. Supreme Verdict for that you blow the board up and everything can't be countered. Capital Punishment. If you vote Death or Taxes, sacrifice a creature for each death, discards a card for each taxes vote. Yeah. And then Expropriate. I can never say that. Starting with you, vote Time or Money. For each time vote, you get an extra turn. For each money vote, you get to have a nick a permanent, basically. Yeah. Again, on the game changes list, this deck is a little bit high on these, I'm aware of it. And people don't like playing against extra turn spells, so I'd be worried maybe about casting this. Instance, just the 2. Swords to Plowshares and Cyclonic Rift. So we've got a lot of game changes in this deck, hence why the levels I think is at level 4. And then we have artifacts. Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Mind Stone, Talisman of Dominance, Hierarchy in Progress, Thought Vessel, give you all the ramp you're ever going to need. Then you've got the Coercive Ring. At the beginning of your upkeep, starting with you, votes Carnage or Homage. If Carnage gets more votes, it sacrifices and destroys all non-land permanents. If Homage gets more votes, or the vote is tied, you get to draw a card. And then the other game changer, the One Ring. Yeah, I did say I was going to go big on this one. I have done today. Enchantments, Bastion of Remembrance, because we like draining people. A bit of protection with the Ghostly Prism and Propaganda. Baron Step comes in from our new Tarkir Dragonstorm set. I quite like having the Abzan version for this floating around, but the Mardu one is okay if you need it to. If you need to take out a token deck or something, but it's probably going to be the Abzan one to make your creatures bigger. Mechanized Production, because we're enchanting artifact, and then hopefully we'll just keep getting copies of it. Smothering Tithe is also in, another game changer. Like I said, this was ranking this deck a little bit higher than normal, but we all know what this does. And then Revel in Riches, because we could win the game with 10 treasures. Lands, I went heavy. We went 39 lands. All of the white, blue, and black lands you can imagine are here. Some card draw of the Archer of Ozerv. We have got Reliquary Tower somewhere in here as well, and Temple of the False God. I will point out that I have included Vault of the Archangels. One of the things I was worried about was the life gain aspect, and having this in to pay the 4 mana to give all our creatures lifelink and death touch once a turn. Probably isn't the end of the world, to be fair. And that's it. This is how I'm going to play Tivit. It's going to be one of the streams where I actually change the blog on the Twitch stream when I'm streaming this to say I'm playing a high powered deck, because of all the game changes it does kind of hit that level of 4 or maybe even 5. But yeah, it's a fun card. I think it's going to be interesting to play it out. We have played it a few times on stream. It's usually something along these lines, maybe some extra card draw, but hey, I decided to go this way with it, and that's it. Like I said, if you want to see me play it, there's a link in the description down below to my Twitch channel. Come and give me a follow over there. I'm definitely trying rapidly to build up to partner over there if I can, so the more the merrier over there at the moment. A little bit worried about the changes Twitch is putting in place, so we'll see. If you want to just stay here and help me out even more on YouTube though, please subscribe. There's a link down below. Please hit the subscribe button if you've not been here before. And if you turned up for some more of the Tarkir Dragonstorm, not exactly a Tarkir Dragonstorm deck tomorrow, but there is going to be a bonus deck to make up for the lack of streaming this week coming out tomorrow. So keep your eyes open for that. But for now, I'll be back next week, tomorrow, with another video. And then next week, we'll head back to Tarkir and cover some more of the legends there. For now, have fun, take care, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.